Happy Monday. Happy holiday Monday. Certainly for lots of parts of the world, it is President's Day in the US and it is Family Day in most parts of Canada, not everywhere. And thank you for joining me because it's Monday and I know between Super Bowl last weekend and family gatherings this weekend, certainly that I attended, it feels like Thanksgiving. I've been eating for 3 days solid, and last week I decided I would do 2 back-to-back sessions. So today we are doing a total body workout exercise-wise. It's going to be intermediate level. You're going to need some range of motion to join me for today's session. And tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to do a total body relaxation and massage session. So in a perfect world, you might combine these together. But because of how much I talk and how long these sessions take, I thought today and tomorrow we'd break it into 2 parts for you. A little bit of housekeeping as well. If you are joining me today, thank you for joining me. Someone please let me know if you can see and hear me on your end. While I'm waiting for some confirmation, I do want to just do a reminder. I had a couple personal messages over the weekend about the review contest. So if you are, it was 50 entries, like people. So you might have had 4 or 5 entries depending on how your review process went. But Life Pro cut last week's one after 50 people. So there is a new one started today. It's a $500 giveaway through Life Pro. So I'm posting this one up now, and you should see this one in the window. Why is this not coming up? There. So you'll see now just in the comments for those of you that may have been looking, or if you're not aware, first of all, if you're not I'm taking this off because it's warm and I'm menopausal. If you are not a VIP group member, be sure that you join the Life Pro VIP group. You're going to get the most access and reminders about the review contest and these type of things. Thank you, Facebook user, for letting me know that I'm live on your end. I'm going to assume the same on Facebook. And if that's the case, I'm going to shut it down so I don't have anything competing with my feed. Perfect. So yes, a new link for the contest there. There is also 20% off site-wide right now. There is a little gift giveaway included in that this week. So make sure that if you are shopping, it's still 20% off. Even though Valentine's was last week, there's some amazing deals to be had site-wide. Visit Life Pro to check out if there's something you've been considering. And I'm going to put a link. This is for tomorrow. So today is going to be a workout. We're going to get to that now. For those of you joining me, I am working out on the Life Pro Mini Waiver. All of my sessions are always an oscillating movement. Once you've used your machine for a while, use what program, what speed you like. I always give my recommendations, and I'm getting a lot of feedback lately. My recommendations are very sort of contradictory of what your manual and what others in the industry are showing. And there's no perfect way to cross the finish line. This is just my approach. I prefer working with higher speeds and less intensity, less amplitude, less impact, because I have so many clients dealing with deficiencies. If you're just getting active, it's not about starting slow in my world. It's about conservative, that mid-speed range, but the feet or the hands are a little bit closer. I've got 5 or 6 exercises today. If you're not coming from an exercise for purpose background, keep it simple. The biggest tip I can give you is don't get your head and your confidence all weighted down with a whole bunch of complicated, exotic exercises that you've never done on the floor well in your life. Keep it simple, keep it effective. Many of us are still in that weight loss, toning mode. So lots of leg work, those squats, those lunges are good ones to keep in the regular habit of doing. Today, because it is total body, we are going to do some core and some upper body towards the end. I always leave my upper body towards the end because for a lot of my ladies, after we're done the core work, I want to make sure you have arms left, because after we do a couple of planks, I want to make sure that I haven't killed your arms in push-ups first. So if you are joining me, as I said, range of motion is required today. We're doing an intermediate total body workout, and we're going to start off with some lunges today. So I have the machine over here. I'm going to set it, as I said, at a mid-speed range. So the mini waiver goes 99 speeds. I always go a little slower on camera so you can see what I'm doing here. But I would like you, if you are working on the mini or the waiver models, I would like you at the 50 to 60 range starting out with a closer to center foot placement. I don't want wide and slow. It's not the most terribly comfortable way to get started. It can be troublesome on bad joints, not so much the machine, but you're learning the exercises, you're trying to gain balance. Because this is a workout, I should put my beverage down. So the first one I wanted to show you is a lunge. I always start with squats, so today I thought we'd start with a bit of a warm-up lunge. And for your lunge, I kind of tried to line up so you could see my reflection in camera. So think of your front leg on the machine like a table. You want that front leg from the knee down, straight up and down. You don't want it leaning forward or backward too terribly much. You just want a good straight structure. The back leg, depending on how tall you are, what your range of motion is like, you may want to back it up. And the other tip when you're doing lunges, think like balance beam. You don't want your feet completely in line with each other. You'll be more destabilized if that's what you want to do. And you're doing lunges now, that will make them harder. But use that back leg kind of like your rudder. Bring it over and widen up your stance with the back leg so your balance is there. And all I want you to do, if you're comfortable, come up on the toe, bend that back leg. We're going to have a nice straight torso. We're just going to come down. And I would like you to hold this for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the way up, clench that glute. Engage it. Up and back down. Ideally, I would love you to hit 3 reps per side. 3, 4, 5. If you're doing lunges now, you want to fatigue faster. You could pick up some weight, add mass, okay? If you're dealing with poor joints, hypermobility, things like that, slow dynamic movement or not moving at all is a better way than going up and down, unless your technique is very, very good. And of course, you've got 2 sides. So we're going to switch. You'll find when you start doing things like lunges or one-sided exercises, pistols on the machine, you've always got a strong side and a weak side. So again, widen that back foot up to give you some stability. We're going to keep that front leg from the knee down on the plate straight, up and down. Back on the leg, down. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice straight torso. Up for a little bit of a break. 3 reps. Come on, back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stand back up. I'm realizing my tree on the wall behind me kind of looks like a crown. No. 3 reps if you can. And if you're feeling at this point, this is easy, I could do a little bit longer. It's totally up to you what your level of fatigue is. Maybe you don't want to push to fatigue, but if the goal is to push to fatigue, you could do a couple of more reps. Or once you've seen all of the exercises I'm going through today first, maybe you want to do another circuit, do a repeat of the exercises or some of the exercises. So that was the first one. The next one, I'm going to employ some accessories here. Today I've got out the yoga rings that Life Pro provides, and I've also got the Aeroflex step. For those of you that are using these types of tools, I've used a ball in the past to demonstrate this exercise as well. Today I'm using the yoga ring, and what I'm going to do to get the most bang for my buck out of my squat, I'm going to take the smallest size yoga ring. I'm going to put it just above my knees, between my thighs, and it's forcing these muscles to engage and keep it in place. So we're going to do some squats, but we're going to add this so we're engaging more muscle groups. And for those of you that are looking at toning, you want to strengthen the hips, the knees, perhaps you're dealing with prolapse. If you ever find you're doing this kind of thing, or the ankles or the knees are always turning inward, this is also a good tool to just make sure your alignment is good and solid. And on my squats, I prefer not to move up and down again if you're not doing these types of exercises regularly. So we're going to do this just like we did the lunge. We're going to do 3 mean reps. I'm going to back up a bit. Make sure you can see me. You're working within your own range of motion, and we're going to come down and just hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back up. You want your feet, knees, and hips all in a nice straight line. Come down again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly come back up. I would like that third rep. Again, if you're more conditioned and you'd like to go longer within your reps or do a couple of more, completely up to you. I think you'll find these muscles fatiguing before the big ones that you're used to using if you're using an accessory like this for the first time, because you're engaging more bang for your buck. Okay, so now we're definitely feeling the burn or the warming up of the lower legs, the quads, the lower half of our body. The next exercise we're going to move into is some bridge work. So I'm going to turn the machine this way. Okay. Now, if you're not doing bridges now, range of motion isn't allowing you to do this. This is, once you get down on the ground to massage, you should be able to do these types of exercises. But this is going to be really good for the glutes, the low back. I want your feet about hip width apart on the machine. Upper body, we're sitting on the ground. We're going to lay down. Okay. And we're simply going to lift and hold 2, 3, 4, 5. You remember my little ring trick we did before? You can add this while you're doing your bridges as well. If you find that your knees are doing this kind of thing and you want some alignment help, or you just want to make it a little bit more challenging. Oops. Okay, and same thing, but we've got the ring now between our knees. Second rep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come down, but don't hit the ground and take a big break. Come back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, again, if you wanted to do a few more reps of that one, do them a little bit longer. You're clenching those glutes. You want to make sure the core is nice and solid. And this is a great little add-on to just engage more muscle groups again. I want to show you a variation on a bridge for those of you that are looking for a little bit more challenge. It's too hard to do with the ring. We're going to go to a single leg version. For the single leg, I want you bringing your feet closer to the center. Again, we're working with, on this one, a mid-speed range. Okay. And what you're going to do this time, those knees are close together. The feet are close together. We're going to lift, and we're going to lift one leg at a time. Like your knees are like duct taped together. So all of the mass is on that one side. You're going to feel the glute burn a lot quicker. You could do your dip if you like. But if you're looking for a little more challenge, shifting to a one-legged bridge is a great way to pick up the intensity. It's going to add a little bit more core stability, burn a few more calories. Make sure you do both sides. So again, lift. The knees are almost fastened together. You know, I don't want this traveling over. Try and keep that the upper legs aligned, and we're just extending at the knee. Hold. 3, 4, 5. When you start doing your bridges one-legged, you're really going to notice, well, any past sciatic issues for sure. But you'll again notice that strong side, weak side. And if you're trying to build some symmetry, rebuild strength on one side, maybe you're doing a couple more extra reps on the weak side to make up the difference. So that's a really good one to try if you're not doing bridges now. If you are doing bridges now, the second one might be a little bit more challenging for you. So next what we're going to move to is planks. And I did planks a couple weeks ago in a session. I'm not a big fan of putting forearms on the machine. There's just not enough, I don't know, there's too many bad shoulders and necks and ways to do them wrong on the machine. And it's not going to be harmful, but if you got a bunch of neck tension or weakness in those areas, I don't want to contribute it to it. If you are unable to bring your elbows closer together, just like when you're standing on the machine, wide is more action, closer together is less. And when you're doing a plank, the elbows tend to be wide on the machine, and you're getting the most movement directly up into the neck and shoulders. So if you do want to do hands on the plate, come up to your hands and do a push-up. That's just my preference. For those of you doing it the other way, yes, there's therapeutic variations, but from a mean fitness plank style, I prefer to turn mine around, and I'll show you what that looks like. So when I did my planks in a session a couple weeks ago, I showed you a reverse plank. We're going to start with that option. For those of you that have poor back issues, you're just weak in the core, there's lots of ways that you can do a plank wrong. And, perhaps you're just not strong enough to start with that type of an exercise. So starting facing the ceiling and on your core work. So when you're doing like a plank or when you're doing a crunch, this is one of the few exceptions where I really like slow speeds. There's this mentality sometimes that, if I'm going faster, I'm going to get more benefit. But you've got to think about how your body weight is coming into the machine. So when you're standing on the machine, all of your body weight is coming into the machine. But when you're doing things like planks, it's a portion and you're coming in at an angle. And if you're going too fast on the machine and you feel like you're sliding, there's not enough body weight coming down into the heels of your feet for this position to not slide around. So you just need a really slow, wobbly. The whole goal with planks is to destabilize and strengthen the core, and the slower range of your speeds and oscillating are much better at doing that. So I'm starting on my forearms. My heels and my feet are really, really wide on the machine. And all I want you to do is lift up your bum and make your body flat like a pancake. So we're going to lift. Oh, make sure your arms are getting straight. And hold. Now you're going to feel it in different areas of the core, the glutes, the hamstrings for sure. But if you feel that you're fatiguing or you lack strength, you're not going to wrench your back doing it this way. Whereas if you're facing the floor, there is that potential. So this is just a variation for those of you trying planks. You want to do them, but they're too challenging because of your back issues. This is another way, and it's way more action on the glutes. So that's just a quick variation I wanted to show you. For those of you regularly doing planks now, there are so many different variations of planks, dynamic planks, side planks, one-arm planks. We're going to start with a very basic one where, yes, on the ground, but my feet are on the machine and my arms are on the ground. So you can go with your forearms on the ground, or you can come up on your hands. I'm going to come up on my hands. And what happens when you come up on your hands and your feet are on the machine, you've got all this room underneath you. So for those of you wanting to get a little bit more cardio, a little more huff and puff, I prefer to do dynamic movements with my planks. So maybe I'm just doing, a little walk, or maybe I'm going a little further. What I would like to see for your plank, whatever your plank looks like for you and your level of conditioning, I would like to see you fatigue in 1 minute. So if you can do a plank like this, and you can do it for 15 to 20 minutes, you need to make the plank more challenging. My favorite is mountain climbers, where I'm moving my knees. If you want to get a little bit more upper body, and you've got the strength to do, another really cool variation is just coming down and coming back up. And all this twisting action. Okay, I cannot do that for a minute after I've been doing all this talking. But pick your favorite plank. And if it's too challenging and you're fatiguing within 5 to 10 seconds, get something where you can get a little bit more duration. But I'd love to see you fatiguing within 1 minute, whatever that plank looks like for you. And just a couple of different variations I wanted to show you there today. So the best starting point, as I said, is feet on the machine, slow speeds, wide feet. Come up here. You can unlock the elbows. You can do some dynamic push-ups, whatever you want to do. It is a plank. So for our last one, I want to show you a variation on a push-up. And if you're just joining me and you didn't see my little ramble at the beginning of the session, especially for my ladies, when I'm doing a total body workout where I'm doing a little bit of everything, I always leave my push-ups to the end. As you can see with all the plank work we just did, we need the arms. And if we killed our arms in push-ups before we did our planks wouldn't have lasted nearly as long. We've got power in the legs and the lower body more than the upper body like our male counterparts. So with our push-ups, okay, if you're not doing push-ups regularly now, you can start on your knees and reduce the amount of body weight that you're getting into the equation. Upper body, very, very quick review lesson. Head vibration. Not everyone loves it. It's not harmful. It does just take some getting used to, but we tend to guard and protect all these deficiencies and the stress in our neck and our shoulders. So try to just relax. Don't fight and resist the vibration. And you can minimize it by a very simple line of sight little trick. So if you're looking down at your hands and your head is right above your hands, you're getting the most head vibration. Push your body just slightly forward so that your shoulders are above your hands, and 90% of the vibration in the head and the neck will dissipate. If you're feeling it back in the neck and the teeth are chattering, you've probably shifted backwards. Push your body forward, keep the shoulders above the hands. So for our first push-up variation, we're going to come up to the toes. I want a good solid core. The elbows are slightly bent. And what I would like to do is the same variation we did with our planks. So we're going to go down, 1, 2, 3. I'm holding still on my upper body. I'm working on the mini and I don't have a lot of room to move. My hands are no wider than my shoulders. My shoulders are above my hands. And again, the goal is to fatigue within a minute. Okay? If you prefer to do reps, I find if you have to go too wide and it's too much shake, it's hard to get low enough to the surface of the plate. But if you do want to try dynamic movement and you're doing it for the first time, drop to the knees and reduce the amount of movement. Okay? Come just very slow, very purposeful movements. Okay? Make sure you're breathing. The last variation and my favorite variation on push-up is what I call a shoulder press. Just by changing the angle of how you're doing that existing exercise, we're going to bring our feet closer and kind of come down like we're diving into the water. And instead of the mass being in the chest and the arms, by bringing the feet closer, we're going to push our body forward. Shoulders are over the hands. Relax the head and the neck, but it's much more shoulders, shoulder blades even. Little bit shaky on the head on this one, but once you get used to it, it's one of my favorite exercises, not only for strength, but just to relieve tension in my shoulder blades. For that one, most people aren't doing that type of an exercise on the machine. I would recommend holding still for now, but same next progressions, slow dynamic movement, wider position. I like to do that one kind of the end of my push-up. So I'll do that one for about 15 to 20 seconds. So I'm starting here, I'm giving her, and then I'll come up and I'll just hit that one for 15 to 20 seconds. And it just gets circulation in all the right places. So that was my kind of 5-6 move total body workout. Again, we started, as I said, keep it simple. We only did 5-6 exercises. I would rather you do 5 or 6 exercises well, consistently, to get the results than intimidating yourself with a whole bunch of exotic moves that really, sometimes it takes more time to work on the technique and become at doing the exercise before you're getting to the workout and the results. So don't demotivate yourself with a bunch of things that are forward and just demotivating. So we started with a lunge, 1 foot on the machine, 1 foot behind. We came back up on this one. We want to keep a nice straight core, and I wanted 3 reps of 5 seconds. Okay, again, if you want to do the exercises we just did as a circuit, you could totally do that. You could extend your durations while you're doing them. Because I have all kinds of awesome bad knees and shoulders, I prefer to do high intensity, short in duration hit and do more circuits styles or do other things. Then we did the squat with the ring. So if you have the yoga rings, if not, a small ball will work as well. We put that between the knees or between the thighs, just above the knees. And we did 3 reps of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wanted to see 3 of those. If you're comfortable, you're doing dynamic movement now. Again, the goal with each of the exercises with my workouts is to fatigue within 1 minute. Push yourself, push your range of motion. The next one was bridges. We did 2 variations. We did a 2 foot with our feet wide, lifting our glutes up. These are all at a mid-speed range for this moment in time. Then we brought our feet closer to the center and we did a 1-leg variation. Clench those glutes. Then we did some planks. I showed you variation 1. If you do have low back issues or you're working on it, face the ceiling as a variation. Okay. If any of these are hard, scoot yourself forward and rest your calves or your shins on the plate. Takes a bit of the body weight out of the equation, and you're lifting a little bit less mass until you can do the full extension. Okay? The other variation was facing the ground. And again, there's a million different plank variations that you can be doing depending on what turns your boat. And then the last bit, we did a push-up. So I left the push-up to the end to make sure we had arms to do them. Got to have some arms for those planks. We started here, and then we shimmied forward, and I introduced you to my little shoulder press. This should take you 5 to 7 minutes if you're pushing yourself. Again, if you want a longer workout, you're building more endurance, you want a little bit more cardio, focusing on some weight loss or things like that, you could do a loop, or you could extend a bit of each of your exercises. But ideally, everything that we worked on today, I want you fatiguing within the 1 minute mark. I need my glasses. And tomorrow, I will show you a few of there's so many different ways you can use this machine. It's just an environment. It's just an environment. The exercises that you do on it, maybe you learned from your trainer, maybe you learned from your chiro or your physio. It's just an environment that makes your exercises, your stretches more effective in less time with a little less effort on your part. And as we get older with bad knees and just the sport of living, there's things that, the duration of exercise and going longer and longer, not only for me personally isn't a big appeal, but I'm going to pay for it the next day. It's not about just going longer and longer. It's not about just one particular setting. If you like the set of exercises I did today, sticking with a good 3 to 5 different exercises that you can do well and just mix up your settings. Maybe you're doing a different program, from week to week. You don't need a whole new play card of exercises to keep the good changes and the progression going. Mix up your settings, mix up your foot position, add some weight, take weight away, keep changing things. And it forces that body to adapt and correct to keep things upright while you're doing these exercises on the plate. So, you don't have to have a whole catalog of hundreds and hundreds of exercises. Just make sure that you're challenging yourself for your range of motion and your body type. And if you are dealing with a deficiency, very, very, very often there's a modification that can be done. So it doesn't mean you need to stop using your plate. It doesn't mean you need to stop exercising. Maybe you're just doing a little bit more self-care and recovery to get back to the exercise. So if you have had a setback, an injury, something medical crop up, and you want to know if you can still exercise, there's usually ways with modifications that you can not only get therapeutic benefit, but keep all this work that you've done going. And I'd hate to see you take a setback, especially if you've been kicking butt since the beginning of the new year. Okay, Debbie's looking now. Here, let's see who's here with me today. And like I said, if you are here, please tell me where you're from. It's nice to know that you're joining me on Holiday Monday. Facebook user I see from South Carolina. I posted a link for the new review contest that's going on this week. For those of you that I got a whole bunch of messages over the weekend, so that link is there. Tomorrow I will be doing relaxation and massage, total body. So same time. The link for tomorrow's session is there. Go in and select going or interested to get event notifications. Josette says it's harder than it looks. The vibration is happening and you feel it in the AM. I'm glad you joined me, Josette. Yes, it is harder than it looks. It doesn't mean necessarily that it's a hard exercise, but sometimes it's just something you haven't done in a while. This morning when I was doing my little, what am I going to do? I haven't done lunges in a while. They were hard for me. Some of you may have noticed, but I've been doing squats with my ball lately, and I haven't done a lunge in a while, and I wasn't as stable as I normally used to be. So that's one I'm going to flip back to for a while. Facebook user gave me a heart. Thank you. Kay from Arizona, thank you for joining me as well. I don't know what everybody did this weekend, but it was a long weekend. My sister was kind enough to have us for dinner, and I'm glad today that I'm working it all off because I had more side bread and cheese than I probably should have. Kathy is joining me from Michigan. Kayla is just beginning. She needed some motivation. I hope this helped you out, Kayla. There's always different ways and different reasons that you maybe sought a machine or what was, what benefits you were looking for. And for me, there's kind of three basic categories of why people get vibration machines and what they use them for. And in my world, I've been doing this almost 20 years with the machines specifically. And I would say 80% of people are using it using it regularly for symptom management, the aches, the pains, the lack of energy. Even though we all have the best of intention for the fitness piece, and that's maybe why we think we're buying it, the fitness piece can be hard because if you're not an exercise for purpose person now, just getting a machine and standing on it is really only going to take you so far. You need to look at exercises that are aligned with and complement your goals. Some people have tremendous success with standing on machines, but very shortly I get well, how long can I go? So are you just going to, are you going to be 2 hours by next year? Eventually you need to change because you're changing and your body's improving. And just the basics of getting some circulation and some lymph moving goes a really long way. Once you start moving and feeling better, many of these things that I was doing today are possible. I couldn't do half this stuff when I was 25. Not well, the technique wasn't there. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that, there's ways I can exercise, and this is the way some of my friends like to, but for me, I like it mean. I don't mind doing the work, but I like it to be short, intense. And I find my knees, my hips, and all the compensating that other body parts have been doing for my bad knee over the years. I can sustain this, but I could never go do an hour and a half class at a gym. I wouldn't be walking for 2 days. So it doesn't mean that there isn't a way that you can use the machine, as I said, and modify if things do come up, whether you're dealing with a chronic issue, you're just recovering from something. Some of the exercises that I was doing today were intermediate to advanced level, but there's always ways you can get fitness gains, and there's lots of sessions out there. Tomorrow will also require some range of motion. We're going to be getting down on the ground. We're going to be massaging from the waist down. I'm going to show you a couple of upper body relaxation tips. And that's again tomorrow at the same time. Make sure you enter the review contest. Make sure you join the VIP group if you're not a member. And if nobody has questions for me, that means that you're doing everything you're supposed to. And I'm just a squeaky wheel reminding you of everything you already know. Someone's watching from PA. Thank you. I love using it first thing in the morning to loosen up. Now I'm ready to learn how to use it to build strength. Cindy's strength, is very much in complement with what you're, what area you're trying to target. So if it's more of a total body thing, start with the foundation, start working on those legs, those squats. If you're dealing with chronic issues or recovering from something, sometimes it's using the machine more often, like 3-4 times a day for a couple, 3 minutes. So you're managing the symptoms, but you're also, slowly, any time that you're spending on the machine is aiding to a degree in the strength and certainly the bone density. But if you can do squats and push-ups and things more specific to challenging the strength, you're going to see better benefits. And it doesn't, like I say, need to be a big exotic 15 move workout that's just intimidating. So good luck with that, Cindy. And please check in with me. Anybody watching this on a recorded basis, if you do have questions related to today's session, or any of you have something that you wanted to ask me and it didn't come to mind at the time, please just tag me at Debbie with a Y. Sometimes the comments get going, and if you don't tag me, myself, Amber, or Roseanne, we may miss the tag. So please let us know how we can help. I look forward to seeing you, as I said, same time tomorrow. Enter the review contest. And again, reminder, 20% off site-wide. There's a free gift included this week. Check that out if you've been thinking about someone special or perhaps something for yourself. You don't need to wait for self-care, guys. It's out there, and Life Pro's got lots of choices to help you. Thank you for joining me today. It was a good workout. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you guys same time tomorrow. Happy President's Day and happy Family Day to everybody here in Canada. Talk soon.